Okay, I'm back. And today with more Screen Rant Supernatural shit. Okay, Supernatural 10 villains with absurd weaknesses. This should be interesting. Oh, go away. Whatever these fucking ads. Okay. The villains from Supernatural, from demons to the darkness herself, had some absurd weaknesses that seemed too easy or too odd to be believable. Well, that would kind of be some of the best weaknesses, again, with the desiccating Viserys, looking very crypt keepery. That guy, Patty Considine, did amazing, though. Like, shit, that death scene. Okay, but back to Supernatural. Okay. With Vampire Academy coming to Peacock and his Dark Material set to release its final season, why did that just go to not secure? In a few months, fans of Supernatural genre will be thrilled to know that they will have a lot more show to binge watch in the next couple of weeks. However, there is one prequel that everyone has been looking forward to the most, The Winchesters. No, which is set to premiere on October 11th, 2022. Okay. Given the legacy that its predecessor, Supernatural, has, it has much to live up to. However, a lot of howevers, one thing that the viewers would like the writers to improve on is how easy it was to defeat the villains. You don't want a completely unstoppable villain. Whether it is through cliches or stereotypes, these villains had such absurd weaknesses that it made several storylines a bit predictable and boring. Hopefully, the writers will rely on them less when they're. Sorry, this show right here. Love Ricky Morty. Okay, we're going to go over demons. They look like Ruby. That Ruby? Could be. God, these fucking ads. Once upon a time, demons were the most fearsome things in Supernatural. True, they were unkillable. When the demons were were tackling ghosts and when the brothers were tackling ghosts and B-level monsters on the regular, they were intimidated at the idea of even going up against demons. Y'all know I'm a struggle reader. Come on. This is Lilith's death scene. And this is when Ruby showed her true colors, like, I am awesome, and how she went on, Okay, let me see. Please don't give me an ad. There it is, right there. I'll show like 2 minutes of this. Oh, dead Lilith. The gate is opening. Lucifer will be revealed, and they're going to end up on that plane, Sam and Dean.
Ruby, what's going on?
You did it. I mean, it was a little touch and color for a while, but you did it.
What? What did I do?
You opened the door. And now he's free at last. He's free at last.
No. Lilith, I stopped her. I killed her.
And you've just written that the first demon shall be the last seal. And you bust her open. Now guess who's coming to dinner?
Good job, Genevieve.
Oh my God.
Guess again.
Okay, moving on. I actually really like this Ruby a lot. In earlier seasons, Sam and Dean, thank you, have a thing when they put Dean's name first, had to perform an exorcism to get rid of demons. However, in the later seasons, the demons are barely a threat, and they're easily able to kill them with a demon or angel blade. And they also have the cult. The only thing, remember Lucifer said there's only 5 things that the cult can't kill? Him being one of them? Okay. While there are a lot of things fans love about Supernatural, the show had a tendency to minimize threats that were once intimidating. Okay. Going with Rowena. Loved her, actually. While there were a lot of characters Supernatural just forgot about, following their deaths, Rowena was brought back into the show even after her death. They did bring her back. She was the most powerful witch in the series, and causes as much trouble for the brothers as she did help them. She had her moments. Oh, there she is with her purple eyes. Like the Targaryen should be having, but whatever. Oh, there's a fire engine right there. This is going to be a hot mess video, by the way. However, despite every time I do a video, it's always some shit happening. Okay. However, despite her powers, her one weakness was her son Fergus, aka Crowley, the King of Hell. I mean, I can understand, but that's her son. A child she gave birth to, even though she claimed to have hated him. She loved her son. You know, everybody loves their son. I mean, even Jeffrey Dahmer's father, and there goes that dog. Even Jeffrey Dahmer's father loved him. Remember, he was all crying when he found out his son was a serial killer? I mean, come on. Although Rowena didn't treat him the best, she did eventually admit that she cared for Fergus and had only hated him because she viewed love as a weakness. In context of the storyline, it did make a bit of sense, although some couldn't help but to feel that it was a bit random given that she plotted to have him killed herself. That's my neighbor's dog, not mine. Billy. Yeah, I think how she died was kind of silly. She got poisoned by her own psyche. At least when original Death died, Dean actually had to like really hurt him with the psyche. And I get that the psyche is a weakness, but she just got cut. That's it. She died from a cut. You know, and it slowly poisoned her. I swear, everything happens when I want to record when I got time to do it. After the demise of the Horseman, Death, Billy took over his position. She went from a dedicated Reaper to a badass boss character. She was okay. She's beautiful, but she was okay. Taking on the responsibilities that led her to being an enemy of the Winchesters who had evaded death one too many times. Yeah, that was a big gripe of hers. How they always survived. They kept coming back and threw off the natural order, and she wanted to put them there. She told Dean, I'm going to put you down for good, you know, but eventually changed her mind because the universe was revolving around them because Chuck was playing a game for entertainment. So yeah, there's Billy. We don't need to see the clip. When Dean and Castiel attempt to kill Billy after they've already wounded her, she reveals she'll die anyway because they injured her with a psyche. Yeah, that was kind of silly. I agree with them there. Which is the only weapon that can kill her. Although this does seem to make sense in the grand scheme of things, it feels a bit lackluster for the show to give Death reincarnate such a convenient weakness. I mean, if they had chopped her head off with the psyche, then yes. But if she slowly got poisoned from a cut, that's pretty weak. So I agree. You know, Michael. Oh, men, can you please go back to this style of dress? It is so hot. Like that's one of the reasons why I loved Peaky Blinders so much. You know, can we go back to Peaky Blinders fashion? This was I love that style. Page boy cap, the little suit. That was a good fashion choice for men. Love it. Michael appeared in both the Winchester's reality and alternate reality, War Torn. This is, I think, the main timeline for Michael. Because Dean did say yes. And it took a while for Dean to get out, and they had to lock Michael behind a wall in Dean's mind that he kept banging on, trying to get out. And then he found another host. That's how he ended up in that black guy. The black guy was from another reality. But then he ended up in Adam again. Because he ended up in the cage with Lucifer. So yeah. Michael appeared in both Winchester reality and an alternate reality, War Torn. Yeah, that's the hell world. Although they won the fight against their Michael, the one from the other dimension comes back, attempting to take over the world with grace-enhanced monsters. Yeah, I remember he put his grace in into Garth. And what that grace did was allowed him to control them and overtake their mind and stuff. So it wasn't just necessary to make them stronger, it was to, he can forge his own little army. We don't need to see that. Michael, one of the most difficult villains they faced. However, Dean fights back after Michael possesses his body. He becomes trapped in Dean's subconscious. I just said that, yeah. It seemed to work well to get Dean, sorry, I'm laughing at the dog, out of the situation he was in. It seemed too easy considering multiple characters had been possessed by Michael without their option ever coming to light. I swear, like, he doesn't bark all day. It's like he can sense, he's like, I hate this chick, so I'm just going to talk and bark all through her video. Like, Jesus, it's not my dog. So if you ever see them, say, hey, shut your dog up. It's not mine. I can't really do anything about him. Okay, Death was one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. Although the human form of the horseman never appeared as much of a threat, his actual powers were wreaking havoc over the world after Lucifer releases him in pestilence. Yeah, I remember that was the guy who kept sneezing and snotting all over everything. Real gross. Oh, I remember this one. Dean kills Death.
Forgive me.
And there you go. Doesn't mean does that cycle look different from the one that Billy has? Oh, because it got destroyed. Okay. Well, there are a couple of things Death can't do, like to remove the mark of Cain. Yeah, he couldn't remove the mark of Cain because it was Amara's key, and he wanted to switch it over to another person to relieve Dean, and Dean was like, absolutely not. He was just going to bear this curse because he didn't want to do that to another person. Okay, there doesn't appear to be much weakness within the villain. However, Dean turns the psyche on Death himself when the horseman tells him to kill his brother. This is the first time Death is seen being killed by its own blade. While it's more impressive the first time around, it still appeared too easy of a way to get out of the situation. Okay. Azazel, there we go, yellow eyes. This was a really good actor. Never seen him again. The demon Azazel is one of the most powerful throughout the whole series. He's remarkable. He's responsible for Mary Winchester's death, John Winchester turning into a hunter, and Sam being marked with demon blood as an infant. True. Can't even argue with that. After the fierce fight between the Winchester's brother, Azazel is killed by Sam using the demon killing cult. That sounds like, okay, never mind. However, this wasn't Azazel's weakness. His biggest weakness was the children, like Sam, who he created with devious purposes. He was so obsessed with his plan that he let his taunting of the brothers let his guard down, resulting in his demise. That's true. And also John distracting him, when they broke that devil's gate open and they released Lilith and all those other demons into the world. Archangels. This is Raphael. They had this one amazing scene when he had electric wings. He's talking about how he blacked out the Eastern Seaboard. And he told him that God was dead and you're living in a godless world. Turns out Chuck was very much alive and very present. The archangels were supposed to be the first angels, more powerful than other angels God created. However, the super angels proved to be far less, what is that dog doing out there? Powerful than they glowed about. Okay, sorry. I don't know, he was tearing up their backyard. I'm sure you can hear all that rumbling outside. That is the dog doing that. Although these angels appeared to have more power than that average celestial, their weaknesses were similar to their lesser counterparts. They could be banished by multiple angel banishing sigils, true, and they could be weakened by angel blades. Well, actually, they can be killed by angel blades. Fiery holy water rings. Oh, right, when Angel, he got that oil from Israel, and he was talking about how it was arid, and they trapped Raphael in that ring of fire. Yeah, and losing their grace. Yeah, when they lose their grace, they become pretty much human. Yeah, because Castiel was working as Clarence. He didn't realize that Meg calling him that was a joke. Okay. The archangels were more of a threat than others, but proved to be easier to wound. See, the thing is, we're talking about their weaknesses. Oh, we're getting down to what I was about to talk about now, the Leviathan. Cut the head and the rest shall flounder. Okay, we're just going to skip right to that. Ooh, looky. Bad special effects, I'm sorry. The Leviathan was one of the most powerful monsters the Winchesters had to face. They had enhanced strength, were able to possess others, shapeshift, angelic power, negation. They could stop angelic powers and proved to be hard to kill. Okay, there's a clip. I remember it was really silly that boric acid was their weakness because Jody was cleaning Bobby's house and some boric acid went through the floorboards and was burning Edgar or one of the Leviathan, and he was screaming about it burns, it burns, it burns, And so they found a weakness for them. It doesn't kill them, but it does incapacitate them for a while. They did have a few weaknesses, such as over reliance on their hierarchy, Dick Roman, and witchcraft that could weaken them. However, the monsters had one of the most ridiculous weaknesses. They learned after some time of facing off with the Leviathan that they could be harmed with chemical borax. I swear I don't read ahead. That's why I'm struggling. I probably should read ahead. Yeah. Boric acid is just when you add water and stuff. But yes, borax, boric acid, similar, very, very similar. For creatures that can only be killed by God of death themselves, they seemed a bit far-fetched. Well, if they could be killed by God of death themselves, why were they in purgatory? I never understood that. Lucifer. Man, that dog is cutting up. Jeez, I'm still gonna put this video out. I don't give a fuck. Nobody's watching it anyway. Supernatural is one of the saddest TV shows, especially when it came to the Winchesters and friends battling Lucifer themselves. In the end, the Archangel was the only able to be killed by the Archangel Michael, possessing Dean's body. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Nah, I'm not going to risk getting hit with a copyright again for that. They hit me 3 times for the last video I did. As the most powerful archangel, Lucifer had dozens of powers that made him nearly impossible to kill, but only trapped for a time until he found a way to get free or be freed. However, the biggest weakness in the show is the weak vessels in which he inhabits. I mean, yeah, I don't understand that because Nick was falling apart, which is why he needed Sam. But then he went back to Nick. And yes, Mark Pellegrino, this guy, he was on Dexter. He's a good actor, so I understand why they would want to bring him back. But how come he's not falling apart when he came back all those other seasons? So you would think that Nick would be a weak vessel, but he's used him several times and then he was falling apart at first, but then when he came back, he wasn't. Especially during the last season when he was, he sided with God and Michael got jealous over it. He didn't seem weak then. Okay. Okay. While this was the reason why he wanted to get into Sam's body so badly, it did make his eventual exit seem inevitable. Yeah, of course, Sam is this Jared Padalecki is the star of the show, of course. Amara. I mean, is she really weak? She's the darkness. Chuck is the light. And if one dies, the other dies. So that's not exactly a weakness. It's a necessity, really. Okay. Amara was the most powerful villain in the series, equal only to God himself. Amara, or the Darkness, is the sister of the Almighty, and he was the only being able to stop her reign of terror, taking her away from the world. Now, that's not exactly what happened, but okay. I remember this scene. I'm not going to play it, though. It's explained that Amara and God, or Chuck, were the balance of powers of the universe, causing an imbalance if one of them were to die. This is why it seems a bit ridiculous that God is the one to end her in order to end the world. He didn't end her, though. They merged to be like one person. So he didn't end her. If the darkness killing God would result in the destruction of the entire universe, it would make sense that her death would have the same effect, making it hard for God to create a new world. She never died. So that's the last one. At the end, when her and Chuck, if you notice, he had one blue eye and one black eye, representing that they were one again, because they were one being. If you remember him talking about, and he says, let's merge again, let's do it. Because she wanted to merge back with him in the beginning, but Chuck wanted to be separate and do his own thing. And so they were talking about how in order to do a reset, he's creation and she's destruction. So he would need her to destroy everything. Everything kind of changed for the last season. And we found out a little bit more about their relationship. So in order to do a complete reset and start over, he would need her to work with him. And she didn't want to. And then she was when she realized that Dean was willing to kill her, because her and Dean are very much bonded from when he had the mark of Cain, and when she realized that Dean was willing to kill her, that's when she gave in and bonded with Chuck, and they became one super god, as they were in the beginning, And it kind of fits in with the Genesis, in the beginning, it was darkness, and God separated the darkness from the light, whatever. So they used to be one being. She was older. Chuck is the light. He's creation. She is destruction. And and remember, he's saying he only has the ability to create, even though he killed a lot of stuff, but he can't exactly destroy the world completely without her assistance. Well, he can't destroy the universe. So he was slowly collapsing different universes one by one. And that's when she was sitting in that hot tub or the pool looking up, and then she sees the stars falling really funny. And she was like, what the fuck? And then she knew Chuck was up to something, and she was talking to him, and he tried to convince her to bond and stuff and to do a reset, and she wouldn't do it. And so they bonded together. So she's not dead. She's just living. She was living within Chuck. And then when Jack at the end became the new god, that was a stupid fucking ending. Jack becoming the guy. He's just a Nephilim, and Chuck is God. So when Jack blew up in the empty, he got the power to absorb powers and energy forces around him. So he absorbed all of Chuck's power, leaving enough just to keep him alive. So I wonder if they did that because Chuck is the original light, and if you kill him, then you kill Amara, therefore destroying the entire universe and all the parallels that he created. Because at the end, Jack said that Amara was living inside of him. So she's not dead, and this is incorrect. But that's it. This is done. I'm done. Bye-bye.